Good day. Welcome to another session of Fog Accountancy Tutorials. Today we are going to continue our study on the Petty Cashbook, and we are going to take a question that involves reimbursement within the month. In our previous video, what we did was that we took a question that we only had to go for reimbursement at the end of the period. Now, I remember that I explained to you that when you are spending your imprest within the month and the month does not end, or the imprest runs out before the end of the month, you need to go for reimbursement and then you continue spending. And so what we are going to do today is that we are going to take a question. We are not going to waste much time. I'm going to read a question to you and then we are going to solve. But take note, this question involves reimbursement within the month. And so what is going to happen is that when you are spending your money and then as you continue to spend the interest within the month, you keep on accumulating the amount spent to be sure that you are not overspending. Okay, so when you get to a point where the balance of interest left in your hand cannot pay for the next expenditure, then you have to pause and then go for reimbursement before you continue spending. And that is the technicality of the Petty Cashbook. Because what is going to happen is that the question will not mention that at this point go for reimbursement. No. They will just continue to list for you the expenses that were paid for. But it is up to you, the student or the candidate, that as you continue to spend, you calculate how much spent, you accumulate that on your calculator, so that if you have a float of, let's say, 1,000, and then your first expenditure is 100, second expenditure is 500, you have spent 600. It means you have 400 more to spend. If your third payment is 300, you spend 900. So you keep accumulating how much you spend, meaning you have 100 left. If it's in dollars, you have $100 left. So it means that if your next expenditure after the 900 accumulation is that you pay for a particular expense for, let's say, $200, then it means that the 100 that you have left on you cannot pay for the $200. So what you have to do is to pause, go for reimbursement, and then you continue spending. That is the idea of what we are going to do. And so as we continue to spend, we accumulate to be sure that we have not overspent what we have. You know, in reality or in practice or in the office situation, it's not likely you overspend, because when the money is going out of your pocket, you will know that it is finished. But in an exam situation, because they have listed all the expenses and they didn't tell you where you have to go for reimbursement, you may just continue to enter the payment as and when you think it's there. And if you are not careful, from the point where you have to go for reimbursement to the end of the question, everything will be marked wrong because you didn't go for reimbursement. And going for reimbursement is a technicality that needs to be understood, because you may just have to pause, balance off what you have done, go for reimbursement, and then you continue spending. And that will be in the middle of the month. And so let us take this question and then let us see how practically what I'm talking about actually looks like. Okay. On January 3rd, 2015, a petty cashier was given a cash float of 900 Ghana cedis for the quarter ended 31st March 2015. Reimbursement was made as and when necessary. We are even fortunate to have been told. Sometimes you will not be told, but you still need to do reimbursement as and when it's necessary. Okay. Expenditures incurred for the quarter were as follows. So on January 3rd, traveling expenses 108 Ghana cedis. We have postage stamps 84 Ghana cedis. We have on the 8th napkins 85 cedis. January 14th taxi fare 88 cedis. February 3rd duplication seats 100 cedis. February 14th petrol 85 cedis. February 11th envelopes 164 cedis. Then we have postage stamps on the 14th 36. February 17th we have soap for cleaning 59. And then we have taxi fare 241. Napkins on the 27th, which is 109. Then in March we have petrol, and we have correction fluid to be 55 cedis. We have envelopes to be 22 cedis, postage stamps to be 30 cedis, and then finally on the 25th of March we have detergent 87 cedis. So these are our expenditures or our payments that have been made in the quarter of 2015. Now let us look at the requirements. You are required to prepare an analytical petty cash book for the quarter ended 31st March 2015 with the following analysis columns: traveling, stationery, cleaning, and postage. So we've been given the columns. And then the B part is to post to the ledger. So ledger account for the expenditure incurred and the cash account. Alright, so this is what we are going to do. I'm going to draw the format of the petty cash book on the board, and then we are going to make our entries. Okay. We are going to solve this question together. I have put the format down for you. We have the debit side, which is the receipts column in the folio, and then the date, which is in the year 2015. We have particulars, and then the payment pattern number, the total amount column, and then the analysis columns. We have already been given the analysis columns from the question: traveling, stationery, cleaning, and postage. In this question, as you can see, there were no payment to creditors, so we are not going to create the column for the ledger account. Very, very necessary. We only do that when we make payment to creditors in the question. Alright, so that is what we are going to do. We are going to solve this question together. Starting from the introduction. We are told that the petty cashier was given a float of 900 Ghana cedis. So it means that is what we are working with. And it was given on the 3rd of January 2015. So we are doing this petty cash for a quarter, for the whole quarter. And so the float will be recorded first. The date is on January 10th. So we call it cash because it's coming from the main cash book. And the folio will be CB, cash book, CB1. And we write 900 here. So that is the first entry to make. Before you begin any petty cash solution, you have to first record your cash float that you have received as an imprest. So that is what we are going to do first. Then afterwards we can go on to the expenses or the expenditures. On January 3rd, traveling expenses paid 108 Ghana cedis. So the same 10, we made payment for traveling. So under particulars, we are going to write traveling. And then the payment voucher will be voucher number 1. Obviously, payment vouchers are numbered according to the order of payment in a chronological order. And the total amount paid is 108. So we made payment of 108, and then record that because it is traveling, it is extended under the traveling column for analysis. So 108. So this is how to go about that. I'm sure you already know that from the part 1 of this video. So I'm not going to waste too much time on how to make the entries. My focus is on the balancing. So on the January 7th, postage stamps 84. So postage stamps and the voucher number will be 2. 84 Ghana cedis. Now, remember that I told you that as you continue to solve, you add up. Now we have a cash float of 900. We have already spent 108 out of that. Take note. Then we have spent an additional 84. Postage stamps will go under postage. So I'll extend this 84 to postage. Now, if you add 108 to 84, it means that you have already spent 192 Ghana cedis. Out of this 900, you have spent 192. This is the idea. This is the main concept that I want you to understand from the part 2 of this petty cash. Is that what you have to, and this is it, that as you continue to spend, you add up. This adding up that you are doing is not going to be done on the paper, but it's going to be done with your calculator elsewhere. So you continue to add up till its richest is 900, so that you know you have spent all, and then you can go for reimbursement. Nobody will tell you when to go for reimbursement. This is how you know when to go for reimbursement. So you continue to add up to a point where your net expenditure is higher than the balance of the 900 left. Then you pause and go for reimbursement. So now we have spent 192 out of the 900. We still have over 700 cedis to spend. So we can continue spending. So in the next transaction with January 8th, we paid for napkins 85. So on the 8th of January, napkins voucher number 3 for 85 cedis. So napkins will go under cleaning, because napkins are used for cleaning. You cannot put that under traveling, you cannot go under stationery, you cannot go under postage. So obviously we extend that to the cleaning. Okay, so now we add up the 85 on our calculator somewhere. So we keep adding up. Definitely we still have over 600 cedis more to spend. So let us continue spending. The next one is on the 14th. Taxi fare, and the amount involved is 88 Ghana cedis. So on the 14th of January, taxi fare was paid. Voucher number 4, 88. So when we add up, we extend taxi fare and it's coming under traveling, because taxi relates to travel. I'm sure this is very understandable. I'm sure by now you don't have problems with the posting. Let us wait till we get onto the reimbursement. Then we move on to February 3rd. Duplication sheet 100 cedis. So 3rd February duplication sheet. The 5th payment pattern. So 100 Ghana cedis. So we extend duplication sheet will go under stationery. So 100 will go under the stationery for duplication sheets. Okay. So now we continue to add up. We have spent quite an amount, but it's still not up to 900. At least you can see 100 and then some 380s. So this is around 250, and then so we spent around 450. Though I'm not doing any accurate calculation, but you can calculate as we move on. But we'll see something. So let's continue. February 4th, petrol. We made payment for petrol. Petrol under these 4 headings, the closest it can be under is for traveling, because we put petrol in cars and travel. Now, the amount for petrol is 85 Ghana cedis. So we extend that to traveling, 85. And then we continue. We still have some amount to spend, don't worry. The next transaction is on the 11th. We made payment for envelopes, 164. So on the 11th, envelopes, voucher number 7, 164, you can spend. So 164, envelopes will move under stationery. So we extend 164 to stationery. At this point, we can add up to see how much we have spent so far. 108, 84, 85, 88, 185, 164. When we add that up, we are going to get 714 Ghana cedis. 714. And this 714 is still not up to 900. So it means that if you take 714 out of 900, we have 186 Ghana cedis still to spend. 186. So let's move on to our next expenditure. After 164, the next item there is postage stamp 36. Of course, we can pay postage stamp out of the 186 that is left. And the date is on the 14th. So on the 14th of February, we made payment for postage stamp. And the voucher, payment voucher will be numbered as number 8. And the amount involved is 36 cedis. So postage stamp goes under stationery, 36. So if you now add up again or take out postage stamp 36 from the 186 left, it means we still have 150 Ghana cedis to spend. But you don't just say, okay, we have enough. You have to look at your next expenditure. We have 150 more to spend according to this analysis. If our next expenditure is, let's say, 200, it means we cannot spend. Then here we have to go for reimbursement before we make the next expenditure. But our next expenditure in this person is 59 cedis, which is on the 17th, so for cleaning. So 150 can pay, so we still continue spending. So I hope you are getting it. You don't just go for reimbursement because your money is going down. You go for reimbursement because your amount left cannot pay for the next expenditure. That is the meaning. So the next expenditure is 59, and that is soap for cleaning on the 17th. So soap for cleaning, voucher number 9. 59 Ghana cedis. And so for cleaning, we'll go under cleaning, 59. So when we take the 59 out of the 150 balance, it means we still have 91 Ghana cedis more to spend. It's not enough to say because it is 91, we are going for reimbursement. We still need to look at the next expenditure. So 91 Ghana cedis is left. What is our next expenditure? February 21. Taxi fare, 241 Ghana cedis. It is obvious that 91 cannot pay for 241. So at this point, we pause, we stop, and then we go for reimbursement. And this is why I want you to pay attention on how to go about this. Now, we are going for reimbursement before the next expenditure. So let us add up everything that we have already spent. So when we add up, because I told you that you'll be reimbursed with the amount you have spent. You'll not be given all the 900 because you have a balance left. So you only be topped up with the difference that you have already spent. So if you look at the total we have spent so far, we spent 809 Ghana cedis. That is the meaning because we have 91 left. So when you add this up, you have 809 Ghana cedis. So let us also rule off here. We are balancing. Anytime you are going for reimbursement, it's a time to balance off the account and before you continue. So we are closing off. Now, 809, and then over here, the total will be 900. We are balancing it off. So after the 809, let us look at how much we have left. So let us close it off. We are balancing off this account. Now, when you are balancing off, it means you are making the two sides equal. And the debit side is already 900. So if we have 900 here, then we should have 900 here as well. Please take note and look at where I'm writing the 900. The 809 I have total, yes, but I have 900 here. So that the difference is 91. That is what I have left. So I'm going to call this 91 my balance carried down. The money that is left for me. Okay, my balance carried down. You can put, normally the carry down should be put under the folio column. So I can bring the carry down behind like that. Balance carried down. Okay, so that is 91. Now, don't be confused by the total that I made. Even if you have not made this total, your difference will still be 91 if you are balancing this off. Just take note of that. I'm making the total so that it will be easier to compare. But if you still add up, just like we do normal balancing of accounts, we are going to have a difference of 91 as our balance carried down. And then the total for the debit and the credit side becomes 900 Ghana cedis. And once we have a balance carried down, then there should be a balance brought down as well. So we bring this 91 down here, and then we call it balance brought down. And it will be on the same day, 17th. So we have a balance brought down of 91, and then a balance carried down of 91. So this is how to go about it. Before you go for reimbursement, let us see your difference. So you have spent the 809, you have a difference of 91. So you want to make the two sides equal. The debit side is already 900, so the credit must also be 900. So you find your difference of 91, and then you bring it down here as a balance brought down. And then you can now go to the cash, the cashier for a new amount. The main cashier is not going to give us 900. It's going to give us the difference spent, which is the 809. So eventually, the amount that you have spent is what you'll be giving back. And then that will be on the next day, 18th. So we have cash, we call it cash. And under the folio column, we see CB2. The first one was CB1. The second one will be CB2 to show that it's going to the cash book. So that is the meaning. So now we have restored our float back to 900. And so we can continue spending. Please and please again, this is the idea that I want to bring to your notice in this video. Because once you have understood this, every other thing left is just like what we have done earlier. So you need to close it off and then go for a new amount and then you continue spending. So now that we have restored ourselves back to the original float, we can now continue spending. So our next expenditure, which we couldn't spend, can now be spent. February 21st, taxi fare of 241. So 21st of February, we made payment for taxi. So taxi fare, under the voucher number 10, under the total we have 241, and then it will be extended to traveling, 241. That is the mean. Now let me also draw attention to something. Did you notice that I did not close off the total when I was going for reimbursement? I know that some people may prefer to close it off. But what I'm just trying to let you understand is that at the end of the period, we are going to post all these things into the letter. So even if you make a total here and then you make another total at the end for two different breaks, you still need to combine the total before you make the post. So what I prefer usually is to leave the analysis columns to the end. Then you make one total for them so that you pick that one total and post them in the letter. I think that is more appropriate than to continue breaking and then making totals piece by piece. We don't really do that. So you extend to travel 241, then you continue spending. So over here we will continue to spend, and it is likely that even still we will still get to a point where we will need to go for another reimbursement again and then continue spending. So we don't say that reimbursement within the month or within the period could be made only once. It's likely that you can get a question where you can pause and go for reimbursement for 2 or 3 times even before you finalize your entries. So let us not think, we will still continue to add up. We still have 900 as float. We just spent 241. So it means that if you take 241 out of 900, you still have 659 left to spend. So your next expenditure will be spent, which is 109. Then you continue to add up again to a time where you still cannot pay for the next expenditure. And then you go for reimbursement again and then you can continue. I'm sure this is very understandable. Let us continue to spend. The next one is on 27, napkins, 109. So 27th of February, we made payment for napkins. Voucher number 11, 109. So napkins goes under cleaning, 109. So I think when we add up, we have spent a total of 350. So we can still make more payments from our 900. So the next one is on the 7th of March, petrol, 185. So on the 7th, we made payment for petrol, 7th of March. And that is voucher number 12, 185 Ghana cedis. And petrol will go under traveling, 185. So 185. So that is it for petrol. And then the next expense, I think we can still continue to spend. We have 900 and then we have just spent about 400 and something or 500. So we still have more. On the 8th, we made payment for correction fluid, 55 cedis. So on the 8th, correction fluid. Voucher number 13, 55 Ghana cedis. And correction fluid will go under stationery. So 55 goes under stationery. And then the next one is envelopes, 22 Ghana cedis. So envelopes, voucher number 14, 22 cedis. And 22 envelopes also go under stationery. So we still have over 200 Ghana cedis to spend. You can still do your calculations to check that. We have 2 more expenditure, which is not up to 200, meaning we can spend all and then balance on the account. Postage stamp is 30 cedis on the 20th. So on the 20th, there was payment for postage stamps, voucher number 15, and that is 30 Ghana cedis. And postage stamps will go under postage. So we extend 30 cedis. And then finally, payment made for detergents bought. Detergents 16 at an amount of 87 cedis. And detergent goes under cleaning. So 87 Ghana cedis under cleaning on the 28th of March. Sorry, 25th of March. So now we are done with the Petty Cashbook. We can now balance it off. And the balancing is the same procedure that I used to go for the reimbursement. So we can still add up. Now take note that even if you don't add up, you still need to show your balance carry down. So when we add up, we have a total of 729 Ghana cedis as what has been spent in the second spending spree. And then we are going to find the total. And then the difference is going to be our balance carry down. Obviously, the total will always be 900 because we know that that is the amount of float we are using. So 900 is the total. And so what is going to be the difference? The difference is 171. So we call that our balance carry down. I bring the carry down behind. So that is how to balance it off. And then now we can find the total for all these expenses in their various analysis columns. So it is now time to get the total of these payments that we have made so far. Okay, so this is the balancing for the petty cashbook. Now, getting the total for the analysis columns. Total traveling expenses for the period is 707 Ghana cedis, 707. And then total stationery is 341 Ghana cedis. That is if you add them. And then for the cleaning, we have 340 Ghana cedis. And then finally, for the postage, we have 114 Ghana cedis. Alright. Yeah, I think I just discovered that I made a mistake. The postage stamp of 36 should have been under the postage column. Yes, so that still sums up to 140. And there is no mistake with this as well. So that is how to go by. So we have the totals of the analysis columns, and then we have also balanced it off. We are done with the petty cashbook, and that is the first requirement of this question. Okay. After this, the next requirement is that we should prepare the ledger account for the expenditure incurred and the cash account. So we are going to show the ledger accounts in the general ledger. So if this is my general ledger, I'm going to show accounts for each of these: traveling, stationery, cleaning, and postage. I'll show 4 accounts for each of them, and then I'll also show the cash account to show how the floats were received. So let me begin with the first one, traveling. So traveling account. I'll just show, it's just like an extract. So let me show my currency sign. Now, traveling will have a debit balance because it's an expense. So the total amount of 707 will be debited, and it will be in the name of petty cash. That is the meaning, because we credited petty cash with the traveling expense. So we debit traveling with 707. And that is all for traveling. And then we will open another one for stationery. So stationery account. The total for that account is 341. So on the debit side, I call it petty cash, 341. And then I'm done with the stationery account as well. And then I move to the next one, which is cleaning. I open an account for cleaning. So it is as easy as this. The posting, cleaning account. I'm just showing the extracts. So that's also on the debit side, I call it petty cash. And the total for cleaning is 340. And then we'll be done with that. And then finally, I'll show for postage. So postage account. On the debit side, I'll call it petty cash, and the amount is 114. So I am done. Sorry, the total for postage is 150. So 150 on the debit side. So yeah, this is how the account is going to look like. So that is all for the requirement B. There is no need to close this. And then we are also told to show the cash account. And so let us show the cash account down here. Now, this is how you show the cash account. You see that we are just trying to show how we have given money to the petty cashier as imprest. So on the 3rd of January, it was 900 on the debit side of the petty cash, meaning corresponding entry will be shown on the credit side of the cash account as payment from cash. So we call it petty cash. That is on the 3rd of January, petty cash, and then we credit the amount as 900. And then on the 18th also there was another one, petty cash, on the credit side, because it's reflected on the debit of a petty cash. And that one was 809. Remember, we didn't give them 900 again. So it was 809. So we are going to show these two also in the cash account. That is the meaning of the requirement. That is it. This brings us to the end of our lesson on Petty Cashbook. I am sure it has been an interesting journey and you have understood this. And I hope that you will continue to look for more examples and try and solve. If you still have challenges, you put this video on repeat and then play and then understand this well. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you are a new visitor. Please subscribe to this channel. Share this video, like the video if it has helped you, comment and let us know how you have been helped, and then let us also improve on our services where we have to improve. Until we meet again another time, it is bye for now.